and welcome to Just a Fling. We're very honored today to have the fabulous Mr. Colin Suter with us. Colin is a gentleman that wears quite a few different hats. He is a director, writer, producer, filmmaker, teacher, videographer, photographer. Do you do windows?
No, and believe it or not, with all that stuff going on, I still manage to have a lot of free time. So,
How exactly does that work?
I guess we just have our, the seasons. Some seasons are good for videographers. Some seasons are good for teaching. Teaching is not a year-round thing. I mean, at least not during the day anyway. It's September through June, and then June through September is a lot of videography, a little bit of teaching, a lot of videography. And the filmmaking thing, it happens when I get an idea that I'm excited about and I want to do it, and I will find the time to do it.
Right.
So help me God.
I love that it's the filmmaking thing.
Yes.
I'm just going to go make a movie.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, it's been mostly short films over the last few years. So.
And you started in documentaries, correct?
Yeah. And actually the documentary and the teaching sort of started at the same time, or at least the interest in education and documentary happened at the same time. I started in 2003 making a documentary about a theater group in Chicago called Barrel of Monkeys, and they teach creative writing and acting in inner city schools.
They're very funny. I'll put a link in the doobly-doo.
Yes, and so I spent a couple of years making that documentary and learning digital filmmaking in the process. I basically cut my teeth on that film. And it also kind of sparked an interest in education in general, the more I worked on it. And then eventually led to me pursuing, more teaching jobs, I guess, because my day job at the time was not very fulfilling. And now I have a day job teaching computer classes in an elementary school in Winnetka.
I remember because we had this conversation once. You're like, I'd like to try my hand at a narrative, as opposed to a documentary film. What inspired that change?
I just thought it was time. I did another documentary, as you are well aware, and it was successful. But I just realized I wasn't quite interested in pursuing another documentary project. It's so time consuming. It is another full-time job. You can't be like a hobbyist and do it. Part of it was the school that I work at. There's something visually interesting about the school, the place that I work at. It's an architectural landmark, and it's just got all these things that a lot of elementary schools don't have. And I started sort of putting together a story idea around it over the couple of years that I worked there. And I just realized I just really wanted to try and make writing and directing and producing a short film that I had control, where I had control over the story, That's what interested me.
So you mentioned that you wanted to have control over the story. Were you disappointed in the way that the stories went in your documentary? Was there frustration?
No, it's just something about, getting up and knowing what you're going to film that day and how the scene is going to go that I like, whereas documentary, you show up with a camera and like we're doing here, cross our fingers and hope that, something interesting happens. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and it's such a long, arduous process. And making a short narrative film, especially something that's just, two characters, one location, I like that, and I like working with kids, and working with kids on these two short films that I've made, and the third one I'm starting pre-production on right now. It's been a lot of fun. It's been sort of the teaching and filmmaking at the same time, which is two things that I love to do. So.
Well, and the films have starred the same set of kids, so you're like making a trilogy with these.
It is a trilogy kids. Now. It was not supposed to be a trilogy, but it is now a trilogy. Yes.
Are you going to give it some clever name, a la the Cornetto trilogy or something?
There are some names. I was actually talking to my two stars, my two actors, about it this week. We're starting the rehearsal process. And it's these two kids in one setting. The parents aren't around. And they just looked at me like, you don't like parents, do you? Is this the No Parents trilogy that you're making? I was like, maybe, or it's the Eliza Can't Cook trilogy, because there's a recurring theme of the girl who is a bad cook for some reason. I don't know why I keep coming back to that, I don't know, but it's there.
Your films have shown at quite a few festivals all over the place, too.
Yeah.
Mark was in, what, like 16?
20, and I have gotten bad reviews on my own stuff. I actually physically watched somebody give me a bad review once at a film festival for a documentary called Breakup Date, and I was at the San Francisco Documentary Film Festival, which is probably the biggest film festival I've ever been a part of. It was really fantastic. I mean, they had a long line outside the theater of people waiting to see my film, and I took a picture of that, and that was just great. But I hung out in the lobby during the film, and I saw a guy come out, and I wasn't introduced to the audience beforehand, so nobody knew who I was. So I saw a guy come out of the theater about halfway through Breakup Date, and he just looked like, ugh, this movie, whatever. I'm like, really? It's not good? He's like, no. I'm like, what is it? Breakup Date or something? I was like, really? And it's not good? No, I don't like it. I just don't like it.
You're like, tell me more. Tell me
Oh
more.
man, that's too bad. And so and then he filled out a comment card, like you were supposed to rate the movie from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst. And I saw him circle 1, and then he wrote something. I didn't see what he wrote, and he put it in the ballot box. I was like, I just got a bad review. Now I know what it feels like. And I thought for a while that it was gonna bother me later on, because I have sort of a delayed reaction to things. It takes a while for me to process certain things, and and it never happened. It never bothered me. And that's when I realized, okay, good, I made the movie for the right reasons. I made it for myself, and I'm pleased with it, and not everyone's gonna like it, and that's okay.
Would you ever go back and redo it, for the 10th anniversary or 15th anniversary, re-edit and
yeah, there's a couple things I wish I would have done differently. I don't know if I can do them differently. It's, the films are the films. But I can't imagine going back and actually re-editing something. I think movies should stay flawed. I'm not into the George Lucas thing of I'm going to change my special effects and all that stuff. A film should be a representation of who you are at that time. If you're a filmmaker and you're making a film for personal reasons, which I do, it should be a representation of who you are at that time.
So what are we going to fling today?
Well, it's Christmas, so almost Christmas. We're in the Christmas season as we film this. And one of my favorite movies to watch at Christmas time is Gremlins. So I brought a Mogwai to fling. And then maybe, I don't know, we could try this too, along the same lines, Bill the Cat from Bloom County. I should have had him sitting on my knee this whole time.
Oh, you could have.
Oh well.
Oh well. Next time.
All right.
Season 2!
Yeah!
2 seasons and a bowl of popcorn? I don't know.
Yes.
that's my... 2 seasons and a trebuchet. That should be mine, because I eventually want to have a trebuchet with which to fling things. So instead of 6 seasons in a movie,
we're going to just...
2 seasons and a trebuchet. That's what I'm going for.
Amp up the budget.
Right? Let's have a budget. So let's go fling something.
Okay. That did not work at all.
Oh, you went a little ways.
Went a little.
8 steps. So a great big thank you to the fabulous, ever fabulous, Mr. Colin Suter. Thank you for using some of your downtime to come and chat with us today on Just a Fling.
I had a blast. Thank you so much.
And we will put lots and lots of links in the doobly-doo, because there's lots and lots of stuff that he's involved in that you should know about. So click on all of that stuff, because it's really good stuff. And yeah,
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.